Hey everyone, welcome to the Gamers Refuge. I wanted to go over, my own personal history in gaming. You know, the very first game system that, I ever got to play on, as far as home gaming systems, was the Atari 2600. And this came out in, I believe, the late 70s. And I remember as a small child, my dad bringing home, our very first Atari. And we just went ape shit over it. It was the greatest thing ever. You can now play video games in your own home. I mean, they did it beforehand, Atari, when they first released Pong. And, you hook it up to your TV, and it was just, the one game. And then, of course, a little later on, that went over so well that they actually made the Atari system, and made cartridges, so you play different games on, this console. And, by today's standards, we look back at the games on Atari and go, holy fuck, what did we ever see in this? I mean, it's just little pixelated blocks with little pixelated dots, for fire, but that was your, like when you fire at stuff, that was your bullet or missile or whatever. It was just a little pixel, and but back then, we'd never had anything like this before. This was just something totally new. Before that, you had to go to arcades and dump your money in, quarter after quarter after quarter. I remember going to the arcades with my older brother, and this is how we played video games back then. So when my dad finally brought home our first Atari, we were ecstatic. This was great. We could now play video games in the comfort of our own home, and we didn't have to keep dumping quarters in. It was awesome. And I remembered, back in Atari's heyday, and all, how excited everybody was when this happened. Now, as time went on, of course, Atari went out of business. Especially after the big flop with E.T., which I think there's more to it than that, but at the time that was like, pretty much, I think it was like one of the last nails in the coffin, basically. And I'm not sure exactly what happened. I think the company went bankrupt or whatever. But whatever the case is, they quit making Ataris, the consoles, the games, whatever. And then the original Nintendo Entertainment System came out. The white boxy thing with the little flip cover in the front, and you had these big flat cartridges you slid in and pushed down. And you had this, basic controller. Back then, it was state-of-the-art shit. Again, we never had anything like this before. We had a D-pad, and you had your D-pad, and you had your two, your A and your B button, and a start and select button in the middle. And my fucking god, we lost our shit. We looked at this going, man, the graphics are amazing. It's not all this, little, pixelated blocks with the little pixels, fire. You actually could see your character. Super Mario Brothers, Duck Hunt. I remember when I got my first Nintendo, I saved my allowance for I don't know how long, and I went out and I bought the original Nintendo Entertainment System, and I was stoked when I got this. Super Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt were like instantly my favorite game at that point. And then Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, and there were so many. There were, I believe, hundreds of games for this system, and they just kept cranking them out, And then came along Super Nintendo. Oh, of course, yes, I bought it. I sold my original Nintendo Entertainment System with games, and then between that and saving my allowance again, to combine with that, I went out and bought the Super Nintendo, and oh shit, yeah, I mean, again, you had your D-pad on the controller, and I believe, if I remember correctly, it's been such a long time since I owned one, but I believe you had 4 buttons over on the side now, and of course you're starting to select in the middle, and games like Final Fight, and I believe Super Mario World, I think, and I believe it was if I remember right, Contra 3 or something. It was one of the Contra games I owned. It was just it fucking blew my mind, you know. But again, we went from the NES, which was 8 bits, to Super Nintendo, which was 16 bits. It had double the power. Great. Great gaming system. And in between and all, I did own a Sega Genesis, and they had some good games, but I never really got into Sega Genesis. Some other people I knew, they were crazy about Sega. Sega everything. That was their system. That fucking Nintendo. Really, what the fuck? No, I play Sega. The Genesis was a great system. Before that, I think was the Master System. Sega Master System or something like that. I mean, like I said, I wasn't a Sega person. But that was their 8-bit, and Sega Genesis was a 16-bit, which competed with Super Nintendo. And then I played the Super Nintendo all the way through until the original PlayStation came out. And then when the original PlayStation came out, I lost my shit. The graphics were amazing, compared to the Super Nintendo. And by then I don't even think I was keeping track of the bits anymore. It's just like, wow, really? And it'd been out, I think, for like a year before I actually went out and I put one on layaway, and the very first game I bought for it was Final Fantasy VII, which is still my favorite game to this day. But other games like Ten Pin Alley, which was a bowling game, that was fucking awesome. And there's this one game called D. It was basically, a vampire game. It was good. Tecmo's Deception. A lot of people didn't care for it. I loved it. It just, again, another first for graphical quality and immersiveness and stuff. And it just went on from there. Then, of course, PlayStation 2, and yes, eventually I did buy a PlayStation 2, and that was even more amazing. And actuality, I didn't buy a PlayStation 3 until they just released PlayStation 4. God damn. I was sitting there, everybody's enjoying their PlayStation 3 and all that. I'm still over here on PlayStation 2 playing Final Fantasy 12 and Final Fantasy 10 and all that, and it's just, I'm starting going, man, I want a PlayStation 3 so bad, but, you're raising a family, you're raising kids, you can't always afford what you want. But finally, one income tax season, I had some money freed up, and they just released PlayStation 4 into the stores, and I finally went and got my PlayStation 3. So, and and I was super stoked when I got that. I mean, PlayStation 3 is just an epic system, and I still enjoy it even now. And since then, I haven't bought the PlayStation 4. Really don't have any plans of buying the PlayStation 4, really, because I'm at this point now I've progressed into PC gaming, because I've gotten more where I like PC gaming more, and I mean, it's all a matter of personal choice. I mean, I love consoles and I love PC gaming, I love them both. So, but yeah, that's just, a rundown of, my gaming through the years, and, it's just, just like from one system to the next, it's just like it just kept getting better and better and better, and, and it right till today where I'm at now. So, if you want, leave some comments down below. Let me know what your first system was. You know, you know, and your memories of when you got that first gaming system. And all that. Whatever. Just share some of your memories down below. I'm interested in hearing. Whether your first system was a PS3, your first system was, a Super Nintendo or Sega Genesis, or, one of the other lesser known systems like the 3DO or what have you. As always, I appreciate everybody taking the time to watch my videos, and until next time, I will see you in the games.